Hello, my magnificent, radiant Leo souls, and welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, the sacred space where we unlock the secrets written in the stars, especially for you. I want you to gather all your focus, open your courageous heart, and truly listen. Because the universe is not just whispering to you today, it is sending out a triumphant, golden roar, and it is calling you by name. Have you been feeling it lately? That deep inner stirring, a sense that the stage of your life is being reset. A feeling that the spotlight is finding you once again, not with pressure, but with a warm, loving, and undeniable invitation. If you have felt this shift, this sense that you are about to step into something bigger, bolder, and more beautiful than ever before, then hear me now. You are absolutely right. The cosmos itself is rearranging its energy to usher you into your most radiant and sovereign cycle yet. And in this journey we are about to take together, you will come to understand why any tears you might shed in the coming weeks will not be from pain or from heartbreak. Oh no, my beautiful Leo. They will be tears of overwhelming joy, tears of pride, the kind of cathartic, heart-opening tears that flow when you finally stand in the full, glorious light of your own truth, living in perfect alignment with your magnificent soul. Now, if you are ready to claim this miracle, to step into your power and begin this new golden era, I invite you to do two things right now to anchor this energy. First, go to the comments below and make a royal decree to the universe by typing, "I am ready to reign in my own life." And second, if you haven't already, press that subscribe button and join our Cosmic Wisdom Pride. We are a community of souls dedicated to living our most authentic lives, and I want to ensure you are here for every piece of guidance the universe has for you. So please, stay with me until the very end, because this message is your personal invitation from the cosmos. So, what is truly happening within your royal heart right now, Leo? Listen closely, because you may be in the middle of a transformation far more profound than you consciously recognize. Perhaps you haven't been able to put a name to it, but your soul knows. It knows that something deep within is shifting. It's a feeling that the costume you've been wearing, the role you've been playing for the world, suddenly feels incredibly restrictive. It's too small for your expanding heart. The script you were given no longer contains the magnificent truth of your story. The old heartaches, the moments where your generosity was taken for granted or your light was misunderstood, are now being gently released. The deep, passionate emotions you may have felt you needed to temper or hide are now being seen and honored by a wiser, more sovereign part of yourself. You are standing at a threshold, Leo. Not of the world, but of your own inner kingdom. You are about to walk through the gates of your own heart and take your rightful throne. Now, in the sacred deck of the tarot, there is a card that speaks directly to your current journey. It is not the Death card, which speaks of endings, but the Strength card. This card, often depicting a serene figure gently closing the mouth of a lion, is your ultimate symbol right now. It does not mean you are losing something or that a part of you is dying. It means you are achieving true mastery. You are integrating your power. You are taming the wild, raw, and sometimes wounded parts of your ego, not by force, but with love, with courage, and with profound self-compassion. This change is not coming from the outside world demanding you to be different. It comes from the majestic, sun-filled voice of your own soul rising up and roaring, "You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to shine." Unapologetically, And this happiness is not something you must earn through endless performance or by gaining the approval of others. It is the natural, divine right of a soul that has finally learned to love its own reflection, to honor its own heart, and to rule its own inner world with kindness and courage. You're already feeling the shift, aren't you? You no longer react with that old wounded pride. You no longer feel the desperate need for external validation to know your own worth. Instead, you pause, you breathe, you look at what once hurt you, not with the fire of anger, but with the quiet wisdom of a monarch looking back at a battle that has already been won. You see the lesson. You see the strength it forged in you. Perhaps there is still a flicker of fear, the fear of being truly seen, the fear that if you shine your absolute brightest, you might outshine others or be left alone on your throne. But feel this, Leo. Feel it in your heart. It's no longer shutting down in the face of fear. You've started to smile again, haven't you? Not a performance for the crowd, but a genuine, radiant smile that comes from the very center of your being, your loving, powerful heart. This transformation you are going through, though others may only see the outer glow, is the true beginning of a new life cycle. A cycle where you no longer run from your own power, but wield it with grace. A cycle where you accept yourself completely, as if your own heart is the magnificent kingdom you've been searching for all along. And here is the most magical part of your royal journey. When you heal your own heart, you become a source of warmth and light for the entire world. Every Leo who steps into their authentic power becomes a radiant sun for the community. Every journey of courage, even one undertaken in private, becomes a beacon of hope for someone lost in the shadows, showing them that it is safe to shine. If you feel you are standing at this profound turning point, I invite you to leave a comment. Just one line is enough to let another noble soul know that they are not alone in this quest, and you are not alone either. From the moment you begin to truly accept and love yourself, you are no longer in the shadows. You are stepping into your own brilliant, magnificent light. And that, my dear Leo, is how a true coronation of the self begins. Now, let's talk about that period of quiet you may have just emerged from. That time when your inner fire felt more like embers than a roaring flame. I want you to know that was not because you were weak, Leo. Your light can never be extinguished. It was because you were exhausted. You, with your boundlessly generous heart, had been pouring your golden energy into a court that was no longer worthy of its king or queen. You tried so hard. You gave so much. You did everything you were supposed to do to keep the kingdom running, but you forgot what it felt like to be truly, joyfully, and creatively alive. There were days, weren't there, when you woke up, put on your crown, smiled at everyone, and played your part perfectly. But inside, your creative spirit felt silent. You looked around at the life you had built and asked your soul, is this my stage, or am I just an actor in someone else's play? Please understand this, my dear Leo. That stagnation was not a failure. It was a cosmic intermission. It was a sacred pause the universe gifted you so that you could finally hear the powerful creative pulse of your own heart, the one you had forgotten amidst the noise, the drama, and the endless demands for your light. But now, now things are different. A magnificent, golden energy is rising within you, soft at first, but now undeniably clear. You are beginning to move again. You feel that creative spark returning. You want to create something beautiful, to change your surroundings, to reflect your inner radiance, to return to the art, the music, the passions that are the true expression of your soul. You are breaking free from that emotional numbness and becoming a brilliant, flowing river of creative fire, powerful enough to burn away all the old fatigue and illuminate a new, magnificent path forward. And the most beautiful thing is, when you step out of that stagnation, you are not only healing yourself. You become a living, breathing source of inspiration. With your energy, with your courageous choice to shine again, even when the audience is small, you are silently inspiring other souls who have forgotten their own light. Because sometimes, one person daring to turn on the spotlight in their own heart accidentally illuminates the entire stage for everyone else. Have you ever woken up after a period of creative stagnation? What was it that helped you find your spark again? Share your experience in the comments. Your story of reignition might just be the light that someone quietly reading this needs to find their own way back to their creative fire. And as you begin to reconnect with this new creative rhythm of life, you will notice a miraculous shift. As your inner kingdom finds its harmony, so too will the flow of abundance in your outer world. We are talking about the flow of finances, of opportunities, of your life's great work. All of these energies have been waiting for you to step back onto your throne, to enter this new cycle with a heart that is calm, clear, and full of radiant love. When your soul begins to align with its true purpose, you will see that other energy flows, especially money, also begin to move, but not in a frantic, competitive way. Instead, it will be a deep, golden, and steady current, flowing directly from the shift in your heart's frequency. For you, Leo, money has never just been a number. It is a symbol of appreciation. It is the universe's applause for the love, creativity, and joy you pour into what you do. It is the world's way of saying, I see your magnificent light. I see you leading with your generous heart. And here are the resources you deserve to build your kingdom, to express your vision, and to share your warmth with the world. When you create not to be better than others, but to be more fully yourself, you will realize that success is no longer something to compete for. It arrives, like the sun rising in the morning. It is inevitable. You don't need to force it. You just need to keep cultivating your own inner light with faith, with passion, and with integrity. My beautiful Leo, in a world that can often feel gray and turbulent, your choice to live colorfully, to create from the heart, is not something small. It is an act of profound social impact. Every product you create with passion, every service you offer with a generous spirit, all contribute to building a more vibrant, joyful, and hopeful community. When you earn money by sharing your true gifts, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the one who directs the flow of abundance, like a wise and benevolent monarch, guiding it to the right places, for the right purposes. And something magical happens when you live this way. You begin to see yourself as more beautiful, not because of any external glamour, but because your eyes carry the fire of purpose. Your voice carries the weight of conviction. Every small action carries the signature of your sovereign soul. Have you ever dreamed that you could be wildly successful simply by being your most authentic, creative, and generous self? What has held you back from fully believing this? Write it down, not just to share, but so you can look at it again and see that you are already on the golden path to achieving it. And as you work with this open, magnificent heart, not only will your financial energy be healed, but the very image you radiate will transform, like a clear sign that the sun within you is finally shining its light for all the world to see. And these changes, they don't always need a grand announcement. They often begin with a very gentle but very real feeling. One day, you suddenly want to take more care with your appearance, not for others, but for yourself. You want to choose clothes that make you feel radiant and royal. You want to nourish your body with healthy food, not out of obligation, but because you realize your body is the temple of your magnificent spirit, and you refuse to dishonor it. You don't do this to earn praise. You don't do it to prove anything to the world. You do it because something inside you has woken up, a royal whisper saying, "It's time to love again, by loving myself first." My dear Leo, you are changing not because you are not enough. You have always been more than enough. You are changing because you are remembering. You are remembering that you deserve the most beautiful, the most vibrant, and the most joyful things life has to offer. Even if it's just a new hairstyle that makes you feel powerful, a new color in your wardrobe that lights you up, or simply taking the time to bask in the sun for a few minutes each day. These are all silent acts of self-coronation. And you know what? Taking care of yourself is not vanity. It is the most profound act of a mature and sovereign soul. It is the realization that you do not have to be in pain to deserve comfort. You do not have to be exhausted to deserve rest. You do not have to be broken to deserve to be treated with honor. You just need to turn your own warm, loving light upon yourself. And that is enough. Every time you choose something good for yourself, for your body, for your mind, for your creative spirit, you are silently rewriting the story of your life. A chapter that no longer starts with judgment, but with love. A chapter no longer titled, "Trying to be worthy," but one that simply reads, "I have always been worthy." And the beautiful thing is, those around you will feel it. They will see that you don't need to be loud to be noticed, because you are radiating your own light, a beauty not found in makeup or fashion, but in the unshakable confidence and peace that grows in your eyes. Do you remember the last time you prepared a meal for yourself that felt like a feast? Not because you had to eat, but because you wanted to honor and care for yourself in a kind, unconditional, and celebratory way. Small things like that are often the beginning of the greatest healing journeys. Is there one small royal thing you want to start doing for yourself during this time? A new habit, a new creative practice? Let us know in the comments so we can be your royal court, cheering you on. Because I believe with all my heart, every small, loving change you make today is leading you to the magnificent, fully realized version of yourself that your heart is waiting to become. And it is precisely these gentle, internal changes that will give you the courage to do something that is your ultimate birthright, to step fully into your spotlight and shine. How many times in your life, my beautiful Leo, have you dimmed your own brilliant light because you sensed it might make someone else feel uncomfortable in their own shadows? Your natural charisma, your warmth, your creativity, it can be intimidating for those who are afraid of their own light. Perhaps you learned from a young age that it was easier, or perhaps even safer, to play a smaller part. You got used to giving the spotlight to others, stepping back just to keep the peace. And day by day, you may have started to believe that perhaps shining too brightly was a dangerous thing, that to be loved, it was better not to be too bold, not too passionate, not too much. Leo, if you have ever traded your crown to fit into a smaller room, the universe is now handing it back to you, and you are finally, gradually, reclaiming it. There's no noise required, no need to prove anything. You are simply no longer pretending. You no longer endure places or people that cause your light to fade. You begin to live truthfully. You start to express your creative soul without apology. You start allowing yourself to shine without asking for a single person's permission. And most importantly, you no longer feel guilty for taking up space. You are choosing the light. And from that very choice, you become the sun for those who are still wandering in the cold. You don't know who is looking your way, but you still radiate your warmth, because that is what you were born to do. Being true to yourself is an act of immense courage, and when one person dares to live so authentically, they silently give everyone else permission to do the same. An entire community can begin to heal from just one brave heart that dares to say, "I will not pretend anymore," because the light you are reclaiming is not only your own salvation, it's a gift to all the souls who are yearning for warmth, for joy, for an honest and open heart in a world too often used to the cold. Has anyone ever made you feel like you needed to shrink? Do you still let them control the wattage of your light? If you have ever reclaimed your light from a situation like that, share your story, because maybe, just maybe, someone listening to this video is waiting for a courageous lion or lioness like you to show them how it's done. And when you dare to reignite your own sun, the surrounding darkness simply recedes. The critics, the energy drainers, the limits you once thought you could never overcome, they all fade away. Because once you know that your light comes from within, you will no longer need anyone on the outside to turn it on for you. This naturally leads to some goodbyes, but these goodbyes don't need tears or drama. Sometimes all it takes is a long, honest look from your throne to realize that it is time for certain members of your court to depart. If someone is slowly drifting out of your life, let them go. Let it happen with grace and without blame, because sometimes a departure is not an ending. It is a necessary clearing of the stage to make room for a new act, one that is more authentic, more healing, and more joyful. Some people came into your life and left beautiful memories, like beloved guests, but some were only there to teach you a lesson or to act as a mirror. And then they leave quietly. You didn't do anything wrong, and they are not necessarily bad. It is simply that your story and theirs no longer share the same stage. Letting go is not discarding. It is an act of royal self-care. You no longer hold on out of fear of an empty stage. You no longer cling to a role just because the applause was once loud. You, my dear Leo, are learning something that many never dare to learn in their whole lives. It's how to end a scene at the right time. Stopping when you feel yourself shrinking in a relationship. Stopping when your heart no longer feels celebrated. Stopping not because you no longer love, but because you love yourself enough to be the star of your own life. And the beautiful thing is, when you dare to let go of relationships that are not worthy of you, you are not only freeing yourself, you are helping to heal the world. You are modeling what healthy self-love looks like. Someone watching you will learn how to love again, but this time with honor and awareness. Has anyone ever stepped out of your life and left you with a quiet sense of liberation? If yes, you don't have to share the details. Just write, "I have reclaimed my stage." And maybe that sentence will give strength to someone else who is hesitating between holding on to an old script and writing a new one. And when the old bonds dissolve, you will see that the space in your heart is also refreshed. A new connection, one that is warmer, deeper, and more genuine, is on its way. It might be someone who understands you, someone who celebrates you, or maybe it's the fully realized, sovereign version of yourself you have been searching for all along. Now, for those of you in a committed relationship, know that your bond right now is incredibly precious. It may not be a loud, dramatic love affair full of flowery words. It may be a simple, steady connection, a quiet, powerful flame, deep enough for both of you to find warmth in a world that can be cold. If that person is still by your side, choosing to stay, that is not a random act. It is a conscious choice. You and that person may not be perfect, but the golden thread between two sincere, loving hearts has never broken. You are in a crucial phase where you are not only loving each other, but also helping to free each other from any negative influences that once clung to your relationship. And now, you are looking toward each other, not just with affection, but with a shared choice to build a kingdom together. A healthy relationship doesn't just help you live better, it contributes to a better world where people learn how to communicate, to listen, and to champion one another. Because love, when it is lived the right way, is not a storm, it is a sanctuary where both people can become the most magnificent version of themselves. Have you ever had a moment with someone you love where you overcame a challenge that made you believe in the power of your shared love even more? If you have, please share it. The story you tell might be the very thing that helps someone else believe in love again. But the door to the past, it doesn't always close forever, does it? Sometimes, amidst the quiet rhythm of your new life, someone suddenly returns to your thoughts. Not with words, not with messages, but with a vague sense of longing, as if their soul brushed past you on a sunbeam. Leo, that person once held a very special place in your heart. Maybe you once thought you couldn't live without their applause. Maybe you gave more of your light than you ever received in return. And maybe you felt a part of your own sun dim when they walked away. But you are no longer the same. You are no longer the one willing to shrink your light just to keep someone in your orbit. You have learned to love yourself. You have reclaimed the very radiance they once unknowingly blurred, and it is that very light, that very transformation that now makes them turn their head and look back. Not because you need them anymore, but because you have become strong enough to no longer need anyone's light but your own. They might be regretting it. They might miss you, miss what it felt like to be warmed by your generous heart. They might even try to come back, but this time, the choice is not in their hands. It lies within your own wise and sovereign heart. Forgiveness for you is not the same as returning. Forgiveness is moving forward with a heart free from resentment. It's looking back at the past and smiling, because you played your part with love and you learned the lesson. That is how you close an old chapter with honor. And if that person truly wants to step back into your kingdom, they will have to approach the gates with sincerity, with change, and with respect. Because the door to your heart no longer opens out of loneliness, but out of conscious, royal choice. If someone from your past came back now, do you think you would choose to forgive and move on, or to reopen the door? Share it if you'd like, not to be judged, but to hear your own heart more clearly. And no matter what you choose, the most important thing is you are now loving with awareness, no longer blindly. Because you know that love isn't about keeping someone at all costs, but about protecting your own inner peace at all costs. And then there is someone else. You may not even be aware of them. They are not from your past, nor have they truly stepped onto your stage at present, but they are there. A quiet presence, a gaze directed at you from a safe distance, full of admiration. They don't make a sound, they leave no trace, just a vague yet real presence. and something in you keeps drawing their attention, not because you are trying to impress, but precisely because you are not. Your light, Leo, isn't a blinding, flashy spectacle. It is the steady, warm, life-giving light of the sun. The light of someone who lives truthfully, who loves generously, and who leads with their heart. And that is something so rare and precious in today's world. You don't have to say much. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to quietly live in alignment with your values each day. And that energy, that sincerity, will naturally find its way to the souls who are yearning for it. You are attracting without even knowing it. And it is exactly that makes you shine in such a strange and beautiful way. You don't need to try hard to be seen, because true radiance doesn't come from trying to attract, but from the quiet, steady power within you. And if someone is truly watching you, if they sincerely want to enter your world, they will have to learn to love you with integrity, not as a fleeting desire, not as a wandering gaze, but with a consistent devotion, like the way you live each day, never ceasing to be generous and true. Have you ever felt like someone was quietly watching over you? What do you think it is that makes you so magnetic? Share it, not to be recognized, but to understand yourself more deeply. Because sometimes, just by quietly living in your truth, you have unintentionally become the guiding light for someone who is trying to find their way out of the dark. My magnificent Leo, after all the lessons, the goodbyes, and the quiet moments of rebuilding, you are entering a very special phase, a phase of opening your great heart without the fear of being hurt again. You no longer seek connections to fill an empty space. You are now clearing the stage of your heart, making room for relationships that truly matter. No more noise, no more promises, just a warm, steady presence. Someone you can sit beside, who can handle the full force of your light and not be intimidated, but inspired. You have been through enough to know that the right person will never make you feel like being yourself is too much. And you have grown wise enough to realize that not everyone who starts the play with you needs to be there for the final curtain call. You are moving forward now, gently, firmly, and with the discernment of a wise ruler. You no longer need validation from anyone, because you know that real connections find you when you are true to yourself. So what are you truly seeking in your new relationships, Leo? Peace, passion, a creative partner, a loyal court? Write it down, because only when you speak your desire does the universe know what miracle to send your way. And you will see, when you clear out what is old with gratitude, not bitterness, that healing things will arrive. A new person, a new opportunity, a new stream of creative energy, and sometimes a miracle you never saw coming. My dear Leo, if you are still listening at this moment, I believe with all my heart that you are ready. You don't need to be stronger. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just continue to live with your generous heart, and do not turn your back on the brilliant sun that lives within you. You have come a very long way. Maybe no one saw every struggle. Maybe no one applauded every small victory, but the universe saw. And today, the universe wants you to know you did not back down. You chose to heal instead of to harbor resentment, and that is enough for a miracle to begin. Keep living with courage. Keep loving with your magnificent heart, because every brave choice you make is helping to create a warmer, more joyful, and more hopeful world for all the souls who are learning how to love themselves. If this video touched your royal heart, leave a final comment as a declaration to the universe. I am ready for a life that is no longer about surviving, but about thriving in my own beautiful light. And if you believe another Leo out there needs to hear this, share this video as a gift. Because who knows, you might be the reason someone doesn't give up on their own shine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for living with such courage. And thank you for being a Leo, generous, radiant, and so full of magnificent, life-giving light.